What is up, my people? This is your cosmic homegirl, and I'm doing a video for you guys for the month of January of 2021. Happy New Year! If you are listening to this during the month of January, I wish you a happy new year of prosperity and love and everything else that you want, success and all of that stuff, okay, for the new year. And I know that 2020 was real shitty for a lot of people, for most people, but and yeah, the energy does shift with it being a new year because of numerology, you know what I'm saying? Which goes a little bit deep, but still, I mean, we're still carrying in some energy that was from like December 31st into January 1st. Like, it's all about how you're maneuvering through the energies that are given to you. It's all about your mindset. I can go real deep, okay? So don't just think that just because the year changed to 2021, woohoo, okay, 2020 was trash and now everything's gonna be great. Well, hopefully things will be great, but it depends on your mindset. If you're carrying in some of the same garbage personally from the last year, don't expect there to be this magical shift like right away on January 1st, okay? And speaking of, if you guys want to know how the year, well, first of all, how the month of January is going to go for you based on your sign, you can order a January 2021 horoscope on my website, which is indigomoon.astrology.com. They are $444, you guys, $444. And I do talk, okay, for at least 30 minutes on each one about how your month is going to go. All these astrological transits that I'm covering in this video, and maybe even a little bit more, will be talked about and shown how they're going to affect you, like a little bit more than the general stuff will tell you, okay? And 2021 yearly horoscopes. As I'm recording this, which is at the end of December, I do have them on sale, excuse me, for only $10. But my sale is not going to last very long. So if you are watching this, before, I might extend it past the 26th of December. I'm not sure. You'll have to come on here and check and see what I decided to do. But anyway, 2021. Yes, I do have these horoscopes available for signs, all signs. Your rising sign will be the absolute most accurate. Your sun sign, if you don't know your rising, you don't know your birth time, it's still going to be accurate. Your moon sign will tell you a lot about your personal life for the year, okay? So these are all available on my website, indigomoon.astrology.com, on the horoscopes page. Okay, and I am still taking, as I'm recording this, I'm still taking a few more personal readings. If you want to know how your year is going to go in 2021, personally, like based on your birth date and birth time, I do recommend that you order a solar return reading, which is on my rates of services page. I am still accepting orders for readings, only a few more though, for all readings, but the solar return, yes, most definitely I am booking for those for 2021 to see how your year is gonna go. So yeah, check out my rates of services page if you want to book that, or a career reading, a love reading, any of those. I also do horoscopes in those readings too. Okay, I look at your chart, but I also tell you what's coming up, what's going on currently, what's coming up for career and for love, in the readings that focus in those areas. So keep that in mind if you want a more personal 2021 overview for yourself too. Okay. All right, so let's dive into the month of January. Hopefully this website doesn't fuck up like it was in the last video that I recorded, but if it does, whatever, we'll maneuver, we'll find our way. Okay. So, we do start the month and the year off with having a moon in Leo. Okay, I'm not going to cover all the moon transits. That'll be saved for the weeklies. But I'm just excited about the moon in Leo because it just makes you more excited about life, more playful. And then the moon is going to be making good aspects, at least more towards the evening and then into January 2nd. To Mars in a fire sign and Venus in a fire sign. So this is just really good, fiery, exciting, celebratory, fun energy to start the year off with. We need some of that, right? We really need that. Okay. So the biggest transits that are going on in the month of January, we do have a lot of Aquarius energy overall. Just for a little overview, a little insight, there's a lot of Aquarius energy pop in here. Let me switch to this. Sorry to blind people who are actually watching this on their screen. But here's January 2021, right? we have a lot of, because we have Jupiter and Saturn in Aquarius together for the majority of the year. Mercury is going to enter the mix into Aquarius. We have the Sun also entering Aquarius. So Sun, Mercury, Jupiter, and Saturn all in Aquarius in January. The only time they're all going to be in the same sign at the same time is going to be like from the 19th and beyond to the rest of the month. We'll have the Sun, Mercury, and Jupiter and Saturn together. So I think, you guys, I think towards the end of the month, there could be something social, economical, humanitarian, protesting, social justice stuff that is going to pop off. The reason why I say that is because, you know, Uranus is the ruling planet of Aquarius, and it's in the sign of Taurus, which squares the sign of Aquarius, meaning it challenges that energy. So you got the depositor, the ruling planet of Aquarius, you know, challenging Aquarius planets in Aquarius. That can mean that there could be something that pops off more towards the last part of the month. Because also we're going to have Mars and Uranus together in Taurus, and that is like an explosion in itself, you know, waiting to happen. Hopefully it doesn't mean any literal ones, and then they're going to be squaring off with Saturn and Jupiter and the Sun. Like, yeah, there could be something that really, maybe some protesting, hopefully no riots, but just keeping it real. There could be, because Aquarius rules all of that. You know what I'm saying? And Mars is in the mix, which is fighting and all that stuff. So yeah, just keep an eye out for that. People may be rebelling against the system a lot. January, maybe even into February, but I'm only covering January because then we're going to have the Sun, Mercury, Venus, Jupiter, Saturn, all in Aquarius. Mars is going to be squaring it. Uranus squaring it. Excuse me. All of that energy. So there could just be people rebelling, people protesting, people rioting. But it could also be like maybe the good side of Aquarius, which maybe it could be peacefully, you know, rebelling against the system and challenging the system, challenging the old in order to bring in the new, you know. Some of you may have attended, some of you may have not, but a few months back I did a talk on Nadia Shah's channel through her website. Shout out to Nadia Shah. She's one of my OGs, man, one of the OGs I look up to. But anyway, I did a talk on her you know, off of her website about Saturn and Aquarius, the whole transit of Saturn and Aquarius, and how it's ushering in the new normal. And a lot of that stuff is going to start coming into play most like in January. I think it's really going to start pushing because of all these other planets entering Aquarius and, like, you know, helping Jupiter and Saturn and Aquarius to move things forward. So yeah, things are going to get real progressive, real, you know, hipster, real F the system, F the government, F the police. There could be some of that going on in January, just to give you guys a heads up. So whether you participate or not, that's up to you, whether you're against it, for it, whatever. I'm just letting you know. I'm just reporting the news. Aquarius rules that too, just reporting the news from a very elevated and detached point of view, okay? I'm just spitting what could be happening. I'm not telling you guys if I'm for or against or standing for this or fighting for it. No. My South Node in Aquarius does not allow. Okay, so just know that some things could be going down, but it could go either way. You know what I'm saying? It could just be people that are speaking out and standing up, and as a result, it brings really big change, or at least plants the seed for some really big changes to happen socially, globally, with the government, with your society, with your community, because Aquarius rules communities, okay? And so does Uranus. So there's a lot of that energy going on. There may start to be that, you know, you got to be careful of what you say on social media, because everybody will be in this fucking canceling fest. Deplatform them. Lord have mercy. My South Node in Aquarius hates the word platform. Oh my God, I hate that word so much. take them off of their platform. Yeah, there can be a lot of that going on. Or even it's like, I've already seen some of that pop in December, as you know, which is when I'm recording this, to where someone is trying to stand up and speak out on their platform, and then people get all booty hurt and offended because you didn't represent it right, and you can't speak for this and that type of person, and la 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 la. Oh my god. So there can be some of that going on. So just watch what you say, unless you like a good fight, especially like net banging. Net banging online, you know, being a keyboard gangster. If you enjoy that type of thing, be prepared. You will be enjoying yourself a lot in January. Okay. But anyway, so let's go in date order. What's going on this month, you guys? If this website starts tripping again, I swear to God. Okay. But anyway, so the biggest things happening this month in date order. So January 6th is when we have Mercury going in, or I'm sorry, Mars going into Taurus. I can't even read my own damn handwriting. I wrote this in the dark, y'all. My bad. Okay, Mars going into Taurus. Mars goes into Taurus on January 6th, stays there until March 3rd. What does this mean? Well, first of all, the first week of January, Mars is coming out of its shadow period because it went retrograde. I think it was 28 degrees of Aries. It was so damn long ago, like June of last year. Mars went retrograde in the very last degrees of Aries. So after it surpasses that, it's out of he's out of his shadow period and out of primitive cave Aries. Okay, no disrespect to Aries people, but Mars and Aries, yo, it's like straight up like primal primitive energy, good and bad. You know, of course there's good and bad to it, but people acting a fool, man. So anyway, yeah, but Mars comes out of Aries, goes into Taurus, where he's a little more stubborn. He's slower with things. He's slow to react. But at first, when Mars goes into Taurus, he's in a conjunction with Uranus, though. So that's erratic energy. So this is also why I said this month there can be some little bit of crazy things going on. And Taurus energy is mad stubborn, does not like change. But if it's a change that has to happen and be enforced and pushed by that Mars energy that's Taurian in nature, Taurus is once Taurus sets their mind towards something, they may not charge full speed ahead like real fast, you know, but they still are going to stubbornly stay on that path until what they are trying to push forward moves forward. And no matter what it takes, their stubborn asses are going to keep it moving until what they want to change happens. Okay, what they want to happen happens. So Mars goes into Taurus, and yeah, conjoined to Uranus, that can kind of piss off Mars and Taurus, because yeah, it's erratic energy, and Mars and Taurus is slow, steady, and stable. And Uranus is like, bzz, bzz, like electrocuting that Mars, like, like, dude, you're annoying me, like, go away. It's kind of like Mars and Taurus is trying to chill and do some work and do it at their own pace. And then there's someone like buzzing their phone, like, bzz, 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 like a whole bunch of times constantly. And they keep like saying, you're disturbing me, my ninja. Like, what the man? What do you want? You know, constant interruptions and stuff in what they're trying to do. So that's kind of like what the vibe can be like this month. But yeah, but Mars and Taurus is slow to anger and slow to react. But have you heard that phrase, that old phrase, a bull in a china shop? Yeah, once Mars and Taurus gets angry, it's like they just see red and they're destroying everything in their path. And literally, Taurus rules material things, you know? So a Mars and Taurus will be fucking up some shit. Like, that's also why I'm like, I hope there's no riots in January. Because Taurus is also retail and buying stuff and you know, money to buy stuff, and then the stuff that you do buy, like having stuff around, physical things. And Mars in Taurus likes to be destructive of things to piss someone off. And Uranus is the energy of humanitarianism and activism and all of that. So I hope there isn't, but this equation can equate to people messing up stores and businesses and retail and material things, destroying things to make a statement. Uranus likes to make a statement that the masses get to see and hear, and so yeah, we'll see what happens with that energy, you guys. Okay, so we have on the 8th Mercury moving into Aquarius. There's a lot to say about this. I'll try to narrow it down though. All right, we have a couple things happening on the 8th. Mercury goes into Aquarius. Sorry, Mercury goes into Aquarius. Yeah, here he is. So right away, Mercury is met by Saturn and Jupiter. So it's like, as of the 8th of January, let the activism begin. I just keep seeing this. This is just what keeps coming to mind, because Mercury is talking, is speech, communication, it's texting, it's writing things on social media, it's sending someone a DM. It's any way that you can communicate and get words out to people. Mercury in Aquarius does like to speak upon topics that involve human rights and making sure that everyone knows that everybody has a right to yada yada blah 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 blah. It's all about that, and spreading knowledge and information via to the masses in general. That's Mercury in Aquarius. That's what it represents. So this whole entire month of January, yeah, there's something brewing there. But Mercury in Aquarius in general, it can have people like acting super know-it-all about stuff and talking in that clear eyes, dry eyes, monotone voice. Those old commercials. I don't know if that guy's still alive. I wonder if he is. But they got clear eyes, dry eyes. Ugh. Like, I already knew that. I know that already. You didn't know that? You've never heard of this artist? Yeah. I've been listening to them on their indie label since 2003. Like, oh my God. Mercury in Aquarius can kind of be like that. I have friends that have Mercury in Aquarius, and they are some of my longest term best friends, but they don't talk like super drawn out like that, like drag their words. I think one of them kind of does, but they can kind of be a little hipsterish about stuff sometimes. You know what I mean? It depends on where it lands in your the houses in your chart too, but one of them kind of does drag their words out and talk like, oh, I knew about this artist before everyone. Oh, I knew about this shit before I'm the one that put other people onto this, like they're very much like that. So yeah, this Mercury being in this sign in general can have everybody having that little hipster vibe. Maybe you might explore something different and outside the ordinary, outside of your ordinary, outside of your regular schmegular, outside the box for you. And Mercury in Aquarius is dope because it opens your mind to new things, and it does have you thinking about the future. Aquarius in itself is an energy of progression, progressiveness. Excuse me. So it can be about, thinking ahead into the future a lot. Like Aquarius is one of the signs that rules astrology too, especially predictive astrology, especially horoscopes, because it's about looking ahead into the future and looking at things from a scientific perspective. And please, nobody start that stupid ass argument here that has to do, astrology is a pseudoscience. It's not really a science. Like, I really don't give a fuck. Okay. Like, oh my God, I can't. So, dissecting things and looking at them from a perspective of trial and error and, testing things out and stuff. That's very Mercury in Aquarius. Aquarius rules science, like scientist science, like official mainstream science, but also, stuff like astrology, because we do dissect things through astrology. That's what we're doing right here. Like, hello, right? We are looking at the planetary movement by degree, and if they shift 1 degree this way, it means this, and if they shift another degree or up to this degree, it's like nerd shit is pretty much Aquarius. That's not in a bad way that I'm saying that. Hello, I'm raising my hand right now. I'm a huge nerd. Okay, I admit it. So anyway, it's nerdiness, but like the dope nerdiness. It's the nerdiness that makes you want to go to thrift shops and just like buy stuff that nobody's wearing, or find this like old book that you know nobody has read in your circle, but you're gonna read it just so you could be cool and say like, I read this book and none of you guys knew about it. Like, and discover new artists like on your streaming platforms, maybe like your Spotify, you know, the new artist thing that they suggest for you all the time. You might be more willing to check them out instead of listen to your same old playlist all the time. You know what I mean? So, excuse me, that's the energy of Mercury and Aquarius right there. Now, Mercury is going to go retrograde this month, the very tail end of the month in Aquarius, but it's going to be in its shadow period starting around the 15th. And, you know, then on the 30th, it's going to go retrograde. Just to be an Aquarian nerd, okay, because I do have some Aquarian energy in my chart. How do we know when the shadow period is? All right, let me give you guys a little nerdy lesson. So pretty much, they say it's roughly about 2 weeks before and 2 weeks after, right? But when we look at the degrees of a planet, like with their movement, that's how you can tell, okay? Oh my God, I cannot speak. Okay. That's how you can tell. If you're more of a numbers person, this may make more sense to you. So pretty much Mercury goes retrograde at 26 degrees of Aquarius, right? And that's on the 30th. So if you want to just do a rough estimate, okay, 2 weeks before the 30th is like 14 days before that, which is like the 16th. Okay, so around the 16th. But what we look at is the degrees of when it goes direct. So it goes retrograde from 26 back to 11 degrees of Aquarius, right? So that's pretty much the shadow period is going to depend upon the degrees. So around 11 degrees of Aquarius is when it's really officially entering its shadow period, what day is that? The 15th of January. So does that equate to 2 weeks? Yeah, it's about 2 weeks, you know, before the 30th. So 11 degrees of Aquarius is when it goes into shadow. Then it goes retro at 26. It's going to be retrograde until, what was that date? The 20th of February. And then once it gets back up to 26 degrees again, which is going to be around March 13th, that's when Mercury's going to be out of its shadow period. Okay, so 26 degrees and 11 degrees. Sorry about the microphone. 26 and then 11 degrees are the, you know, the determining degree. What the hell is going on? Oh my God. Okay, I don't know what the hell happened, but this website, I accidentally clicked something and it did some really weird shit. As I said in my last weekly video, for the end of December into the first week of January, I've had some people tell me that ever since the Great Conjunction in Aquarius, and Aquarius rules the internet and technology and social media, that they've had a lot of technological issues. And now I'm like, yo, like I'm noticing that for myself too. Okay, but let's keep it moving. All right, you guys. So that was Mercury in Aquarius and Mercury retrograde. Now on the 8th, we also have Venus moving into Capricorn, and she's going to be hanging out here only until February 1st. So Venus in Cap, when she was in Sag, she was partying, she was drinking, she was getting toasted, man, like tore back all the time and just like, woo. You know who is a Sagittarius that Venus and Sag energy reminds me of? You guys remember Snooki? I don't think she goes by Snooki anymore because she's grown up now. But she's a Sag, and Venus and Sag just makes me think of her, like dancing to EDM music and getting like shit-faced drunk and turning backflips and wearing cute little weird outfits and just being woo, just a free spirit. That's Venus and Sag all day. So people could have had more of that vibe. But now that we step into Venus and Capricorn, she is mature. She is serious. She's really asking you these questions with like this evil stank eye, just looking at you like you're the most idiotic imbecile she's ever seen in her presence. And she wants to know if you can prove yourself to her, whether or not you are someone who's responsible, and what are your intentions, and what is your 10-year plan. Fuck a 5-year plan. She wants to know what's your 10-year plan. You know, she wants to know how many figures you make and what car you drive, and she wants to know all the more practical, like goal oriented things about you. She wants to know, yeah, what are your goals in life? What career goals do you have? She wants to know what college you attended, what degree do you have, and she wants to know all that stuff. She wants to know your stats in that way. So a lot of people get real serious about love and money when Venus is in Capricorn. They don't play around. They have more standards. They don't like to bend the rules. They don't like to step down from their standards. So she doesn't play, man. Now, I do like to talk about fashion and stuff with Venus because she also rules that. Venus in Cap, she's all about the blazers, the shoulder pads. Maybe not shoulder pads as much these days in more modern times, but listen, back in the 80s, if you guys look at pictures, videos, and all that, weren't shoulder pads, big shoulder pads, a thing? That's because we had Uranus and Neptune in Capricorn for a good portion of the 1980s. Okay. And so shoulder pads were a big thing. Neptune was there. Neptune entered in like 1984, I want to say, offhand. It's either 83 or 84. Neptune in Capricorn. I think it's 84. And yes, so Neptune can rule glamour and fashion and stuff. So, and if you notice also, like, cheekbones, Capricorn rules the cheekbones. And they're like, did you notice back in the 80s, women wore blush, and men that wore makeup too? They wore blush to the extreme in the 80s. You know what I'm saying? And as soon as, especially Uranus entered Capricorn, like in the mid 80s, yeah, having that heavy blush, and even like the blush that goes way up to like your eyeball, past your cheekbone. That is Capricorn. That's Capricorn's style, like taken to a very Uranian and Neptunian level. So Venus in Cap, yes, there's an emphasis on the cheekbones. So get your contours right, okay, ladies and gents. Break out your highlighter, even though we have to wear masks now, but if you take some dope selfies or something, at least mask free in a safe zone, in your own home or something, rock that contour, rock that highlighter. That's why all that stuff is popular, because of Pluto in Capricorn right now. Okay. More on that later. Wink, wink. But anyway, so Venus in Capricorn, that's her style. She is about accentuating your cheekbones and making yourself look intimidating and scary, and like you really mean business. You're that authoritarian, you have this big presence about you. That's why there's the shoulder pads, because if you notice, or shoulders, maybe not shoulder pads nowadays, but like you can still find, there are some like shirts and even bodysuits and stuff that have the shoulders like really accentuated, like poofed out some sort of way or something, right? And yes, wearing blazers, because they represent authority, like being an official. You notice how official, quote unquote, people, they have a uniform, they have a suit, to where it really makes them look powerful, So anyway, anything that can equate to that is Venus in Capricorn. She also likes to rock the colors black, any colors of camo, that olive green, that military green, browns, the color black. Yeah, I think I said that. And also silver and gold and platinum, colors of money, number one. But number two, colors of like gold and what's it called, like medals of honor, as well as money. Those are all ruled by Capricorn. So Taurus rules money too, but Capricorn is associated with money and business. So that's why those colors apply for that sign too. So if you notice people rocking more camo, more of that olive color, you know what I mean? Then that's why. Venus in Cap, she likes to wear suits and stuff. But it ain't all about the power suits. But it is about wearing, like, rocking the finest. Like, even like Capricorn, a lot of Capricorn people, excuse me, that are really super duper Capricorn, even if they're rocking casual gear, it's going to be like name brand or stuff that's like high quality. You know what I mean? They're not going to be bumming out with stuff that's got holes in it, from being old and tattered and like, stains all on it. No, sir. No, ma'am. So they're going to be wearing some some high quality gear, no matter what. Okay, so that's kind of like the style, a little bit of the style and fashion of Venus in Capricorn. I may make like a post or something elaborating on it more. All right, so she's going to be hanging out until the 1st of February. Okay, so then we skip ahead to the 12th, and we do have a new moon in Capricorn. And this may be the 13th if you are in a different time zone other than the west coast of the US and A. Okay, so yeah, so we have a new moon in Cappy, the 12th or 13th. And this is an interesting one because it's in a conjunction with Pluto in Capricorn too. It does make a slight sextile to Neptune, but to me, it doesn't. That's not gonna have like too big of an effect on this new moon. It is very close to Pluto. It's 23 degrees. Pluto is 24. Hello, okay, next door neighbors. So what does this mean? Yo, like Pluto is destroy and rebuild. It's burned down to the ashes and then rise again, reborn. You know, it's the ruling planet of Scorpio. Pluto's the lord of the underworld. But he rules going through the dark night of the soul, you know, going through your darkest times, but for the sake of regenerating yourself. It's usually for some purpose of like learning and suffering so that you can appreciate life, because it's like extreme life and death situations are ruled by Pluto, traumatic situations, just any experience that's extreme that you survive and you learn from. So just in general, that's kind of the theme of this new moon. You know, there's a death and rebirth that's going on. And with it being in Capricorn, in general, Capricorn rules like our authority figures in life, the government. So there could be something that really changes in an extreme way with the governments in the world that's brought about by this new moon. Particularly for the US, because we are in the middle of our Pluto return, which, you know, it happens every several hundred years. And this is the first Pluto return that the US is having. That's why we're going through so much like change here, right? And there's such a need for progression. But anyway, for transformation of this country, you know, purging out the old shit that was established during the first time Pluto was in Cap, you know, when the US was born, purging a lot of that out. And that's why there's a lot of newness that's happening that's like never before in history of the US has blah 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 blah. Like, yeah, there's going to be a lot of that, a lot more of that to come, but we're already seeing some of it, right? And Pluto is purging out that old shit, transforming it. So wherever Capricorn is for you, once again, you can order a horoscope for January and find out what that means for your sign. But wherever Capricorn is in your chart, that area of life can have some sort of purging that happens. And it can be a little painful for some, you know, and Capricorn energy is very much grounded in reality. It's an earth sign. So the ground, earth, hello. But it is grounded in reality, and it really grounds you, like gives you teachable moments. This is Capricorn all day. Teachable moments. Like if you make a mistake, Capricorn energy will like point it out to you hardcore and just like not give a fuck and just be like, you see what you did? Now let me show you how you fucked up and why you shouldn't do this again so you don't mess up in the future. Like that's Cap energy. It's kind of like an old disciplinarian parent or teacher or sensei or somebody. Speaking of senseis, if anybody else is excited about Cobra Kai season 3, let a homegirl know, because January 1st, they just moved up to January 1st. Oh my gosh, I can't wait. That show is just like freaking fantastic. Yeah, so speaking of senseis, okay. But yeah, back to this new moon. There could be your inner sensei that's like kicking your ass with this new moon. And it may feel kind of rough, like you're getting some sort of tough love. But it's all for you to rebuild yourself, you know, be reborn a better person in some area of life, okay? Wherever Cap is at for you in your chart. All right, so the The 19th, we have the sun moving into Aquarius. So this is when things start getting really, really real. It's around the 19th, the 20th, and the rest of the month. Because, yeah, the sun enters Aquarius. And we have Mercury in Aquarius as well. And then we have Saturn and Jupiter, you know, of course, hanging out. And we do have Mars and Uranus, like, really, like, okay, so here, let's just start with this. The 19th, the sun moves into Aquarius. Right away, it's in a conjunction with Saturn and with Jupiter. Okay. So yeah, this is some real deal power to the people type of energy that's popping around this time. And as soon as it enters Aquarius, it's also squaring Mars and squaring Uranus too. So all that stuff I talked about in the beginning of the video, yo, it's really on and popping, like starting around this time. So yeah, we can see some real revolutionary shit popping off. But once again, it doesn't always have to be rah, you know, it can be something that is like Mars and Taurus is gentle with enforcing things, you know, it more gentler than other signs, let's just say that. So maybe this is more just like, hey, you know, we're tired of this shit, let's get things moving, even if it takes a while, let's at least plant the seed. Like, that's what Mars and Taurus is about, squaring the sun here. But this can kind of really feel good for a lot of people, the sun in Aquarius, because it gives them more enlightenment into how to push things ahead in life, into the future, that like how they want the future to be, if that makes sense. So the sun in Aquarius, yeah, it is like total hipster vibes. Total hipster. And as I stated before, you know, and I'm probably going to be stating this the whole year and going forward with Aquarius energy, is it's cool to do that. It's cool to start a movement. It's cool to start a movement for the sake of wanting to make a difference in the world, or your world, your circle, your community, or whatever. It's dope. It's needed. Those type of people are needed. Those type of circumstances are needed. But at the same time, you know, Aquarius is ruled by Saturn and Uranus. Uranus is the rebellious, freedom-loving, revolutionary, that's all about everybody being free to be themselves and stuff. But Saturn is very like forceful, disciplinarian energy. And so because of that, and because, you know, the sun is squaring Uranus, squaring the freedom loving, and in a conjunction with the, you know, the more strict energy, just be careful that if you are one of those Aquarian types, you're not like looking at everyone else who isn't joining in on your movement like they're an asshole, or like they're stupid, or they are, because Aquarius energy can make some have a god complex, as they say, like they are above every, because look at where Aquarius is at the top of the chart, right? It's up here at the top. So on a negative side, sometimes this energy can look down upon people in a way like, I'm above all you guys, I have all this knowledge and you guys are stupid, you know, and just kind of make people feel like they're less than if they're not joining in on what they're doing and how they're progressing things forward, and all of you people are just staying back here. Don't fall into that, because it's not necessary. Get whoever you want to get to join your little movements and stuff to join in, and anybody who decides to just chill and stay in their own lane, because astrologically speaking, maybe their energy is more here at the bottom of the zodiac, or at the bottom of their own personal charts, to where they're more low-key. They're low-key, they chill, they don't need to be up here on a platform speaking out. Like, not everybody has to do that. So if people don't repost things that you post, even if they are a part of the same community that you are, don't come down upon them and say that they're being this or that negative, you know, say negative things about them to make them feel less than, like they're not doing their part. How do you know if people aren't doing their part? Just because they're private and low key? They may be doing their part in like small little baby steps, or with individuals, working with different individuals, not large groups, because they're not set up for the large group thing. They're not set up to follow movements, you know? And some people are just about peace and staying in their own lane and keeping quiet because they don't care to fight and get into arguments with people and all this. Like, it's just not in their nature. So leave those types of people be, but find your tribe, your peoples to march, to protest, to repost things on social media, to get on platforms or whatever. Find those that are down and be cool with having them. Okay, if you don't get everybody, you know, Aquarius also is one of the signs that's associated with cult leaders. Yeah, and don't go looking up cult leaders' sun signs and be like, no, but you see, Aries was Hitler was an Aries. He's not an Aquarius. Don't go doing that to try to prove me wrong. This energy is associated with cult leaders because it is about gathering the masses together under one cause, common cause, forming your own communities of people. But also, like I said, Aquarius energy can have that God complex to where they're looked at as the leader, and, you know, they're the ones making waves amongst the masses. The person in control of the waves could be the Aquarius type. So that's why that energy is associated with it on a negative side, you know? So, and when it's in a conjunction with Saturn, like I said, that could be kind of forceful energy, like trying to force people into movements and you know, whatever, in order to make a change and make a difference. And then, like I said, look at them like, if you're not doing things this way, then you're wrong. Like, nah, my ninjas, please don't fall into those Aquarius traps. Utilize the energy in more positive ways. Yes, get messages out, you know, get messages across, get them out, say what you have to say, and find your like-minded people, of course, to make changes in your personal lives, or if you want to do it on a larger scale. So yeah, that's my advice, okay, with that energy in effect. So the sun in Aquarius, it's going to be here until February the 18th. But yeah, it is really good for, once again, exploration of new things, of new pathways, new ways of thinking. The term think outside the box, that is ruled by motherfucking Aquarius, okay? Think outside the box. Like, don't just do things the same old how they've always been. Let's move things forward, you know, let's move things into the future. Let's get some new inventions. Let's get some new technology going, you know what I'm saying? So we could see excuse me, during this Aquarius season this year, we could actually see stuff that has to do with air travel or space, or air travel into space. But air travel here on Earth, you know what I mean? Like airplane ride, like airlines and helicopters and all that stuff. But also space and technology stuff. You know, you may see headlines that have to do with aliens and conspiracy theories. There's just going to be a lot more of that this Aquarius season because of these two guys right here in the mix. All right. So yeah, more on the sun in Aquarius later on in the month, in the weeklies, but it's definitely popping this month, you guys. Okay. So we do have Mars in a conjunction with Uranus. It's building up, but it's going to be exact on the 20th, like by degree. And I know I already said this, Mars and Uranus together, I think of an explosion, and I don't want everybody to be like, oh my God, that means some shit's going to be blowing up. Not necessarily or exactly, but it could lead to that if, you know, people aren't careful. Because Uranus does rule things it rules lightning and things that spark with electricity, that's sudden, you know, and that just shock you. It rules shocks. And then Mars can rule like weaponry and fire and all of that stuff. So just be aware of that, okay? But Mars and Uranus together is very erratic energy. So it looks like midday to evening on the 20th, depending upon where you're at, is when Mars and Uranus are exact together. And then we have the moon stepping into Taurus in the mix. Also, the 20th and the 21st, you guys, could get a little wild. It could. because the moon is your mood and emotions. And when you have emotions and mood combined with angry ass Mars and then Uranus, it wants to blow some shit up and throw lightning bolts at things and rebel. Yeah, this could be an explosive energy altogether. But I mean emotionally explosive. Like, you can be popping off at people just on a smaller scale, regular schmegular, layman's terms, you know, in your regular life. You could be popping off at people on this day, the 20th into the 21st. So just be aware of that. It'll be hard to control your anger, your attitude, and yeah, and other people around you. If it's not you, it could be other people around you. Just keep an eye out. But also be careful driving. When there's a Mars and Uranus conjunction, OMG, this is one of those be careful driving days that's more serious than a Mercury retrograde be careful driving. And Mercury is in shadow period at this time too. So really around the 20th and 21st, be careful driving, you guys. I will talk about this in the weeklies too in more detail, but Mars is physical movement, and it can be physical movement of machinery like a vehicle, you know, and Mercury rules the actual operation of the vehicle, the mechanics of it. Utilizing your hands to operate a vehicle is Mercury, and your mind as well is Mercury. And you know what I'm saying, Mars is associated too. So yeah, you just be careful driving around the 20th and 21st. That's all I have to say about that. Okay. This can also cause people to have a lot of nervous, restless energy. Mars and Uranus together. Okay, you could feel like you're a complete spaz and Tasmanian devil on that day. So just watch out. Or other people could be like acting like a motherfucking spaz on that day too, and you just want to smack them. Haha. Anyway, like freaking Rick James style. Unity. Anyway, so on the 28th, okay, this is when we have a full moon in Leo. So we start the month with a moon in Leo, but we also have a full moon in Leo that is in a conjunction with Saturn and Jupiter, and that is in a square to Uranus. Okay, so what does this mean? The 28th, okay. What does this mean? Whew, see, look at this. Look at all this lineup right here with the solar part of the full moon. So basically, full moon in Leo, yeah, just be careful of energy of people being on their soapbox or their high horse, meaning arrogance, because both signs can be associated with arrogance to a certain degree. And in certain ways that they display it differently, but still both signs can be like that, Leo and Aquarius. So people might get checked. Well, if they do have any type of arrogance, they can get, you know, people, the cancel culture of it all, with deplatforming people and canceling and all that. We may see that around this full moon in Leo, because Leo rules celebrity. And then Aquarius rules social media and influencers. So you know how influencers are the new celebs, and they're ruled by Aquarius, and Leo is celebrities, like in the old school way, you know, where you become a movie star or a singer or something, and that's how you're elevated to celeb status, being celebrated and recognized. But nowadays, being an influencer means you made some waves amongst the masses via social media. That's all you had to do. And you know, this is going to get a little deep, and I'm going to talk about this in a later video, but I do see 2021 is going to further start to bring the fall of the celebrity, meaning celebrity in the old school way, like movie stars. People aren't really able to make movies like they used to because technology's moving forward. Number one. Number two, the Rona kind of put a stop to a lot of it, or through a like, you know, through what's one of the, why do I always try to do these old people sayings? I ain't a fucking old person like that yet. Throw a wrench in their plans, or you know what I'm saying? It just kind of disrupted things with how they usually are. with making movies and, you know, being that glamorous. And also social media kind of ruins celebrities too, because of the Rona, they are brought down to our level now, the people, the masses. And they have to do things like they get on social media and we're able to access them now and talk to them now, and they interact with us, and you know what I'm saying? They're not as elevated like they used to be. So and then, you know, Aquarius is one of the signs that rules cancel culture. So we could see something like that. And this full moon makes a square aspect to Mars and Uranus. So yeah, man, there could be something that goes on, or maybe just a lot of little instances that go on to where more celebrities are like, and or influencers are caught up in some drama or something, and people are like, oh, you're not as great as I thought you were. That stuff goes on all the time, but there could be something major with this full moon. But personally, on a personal level, what does this full moon mean? Well, I mean, it's in Leo. Could be something to do with if you're on your high horse or your little soapbox or whatever about some things. Maybe you can get checked, like I said. Maybe other people will check you because Mars is here, you know, ready to, you know what I'm saying? So, or you could be checking other people if they're acting too high and mighty in some sort of way. Other than that, you'd really have to check your own horoscope to see where these signs fall in your chart to know what areas of life they're really affecting. You know, Leo, Taurus, and Aquarius. Where are they at? Okay. So then we have Venus conjoined to Pluto on the 28th as well. Look at this, 25 degrees and 25 degrees. Bam. Ooh, that's a very intense day. A full moon and Venus conjoined to Pluto. I will cover more of the Venus Pluto thing in the weeklies during that time. But yeah, just know that's very intense for love, especially for dealings of love. That could be a very obsessive energy, so be careful. And then with the full moon too, shit. Yeah, just be careful. There's no weird stalkery energy that's in the mix in your life, or you yourself acting like obsessive, you know. But Venus and Pluto together. As a Scorpio, I will say Pluto rules Scorpio, Venus rules love. You know, it could be really intense, and it doesn't have to be a bad thing. It can equate to some good things popping off. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so more on that around the 28th when I do the weeklies to cover that week. But I did just want to mention that, like, look at all of this, man. This is crazy. It could be an intense day, but don't think I'm fear mongering. I just tell the truth, good or bad. But of course, there's good to each thing. Okay. So then we end the month with Mercury going retrograde in Aquarius. I pretty much covered the Mercury retrograde already. But it just goes retrograde on this day. All right. So remember, 2 weeks before that, starting around the 14th, is when the shadow period begins. So don't let people say, well, Mercury doesn't go retrograde until the 30th. So therefore, all of my computer issues before that are not relevant to Mercury retrograde. No. They still are. You still need to be careful, cautious with typing, texting, driving, everything Mercury ruled. Okay. Ordering things online, delivering packages and mail yourself. You can be forgetful. You can skip over details. You know, all of that is still in full effect before the 30th. Between the 14th and the 30th. It's just the 30th and after it gets more intense. And then remember, Mercury goes direct on February 20th, and then it goes out of shadow on March 13th. So pretty much the fuckery is real from about the 14th of January until the 13th of March. So for 2 months. Okay. So that's it, you guys, for the month of January. I hope this was helpful to you, and I hope you guys are able to navigate through the I can't talk. I have third house transits right now, so I'm very Gemini like blah blah blah. Anyway, I hope you guys have a good month. All right, and don't forget to check your horoscope on my website for January. Okay, they are found here. If you want a January horoscope, 2021 horoscope, also personal readings. If you want a solar return for 2021, hit me up. Okay, so don't forget to watch out for my 2021 video, which is still coming soon. And I will see you guys in my next ones. Take care. Peace.